You made a decision today. Maybe it was what to eat for breakfast. Maybe it was whether to text someone back. Maybe it was something bigger, a job, a relationship, a risk. You thought about it. You weighed your options. And then you chose. But what if you weren't the one who decided? Something older did. Something that has been running inside you since before you had language. And the strangest part, Han, the version of you that thinks it made the choice may have arrived after the decision was already made. You have two brains. Not left brain versus right brain. That popular idea was mostly wrong. Inside your mind are two decision-making systems. One is fast, emotional, and ancient. The other is slow, rational, and deliberate. The slow one is the one you think of as you. The problem is that it is rarely in control. Neuroscientist Michael Gazzaniga discovered this while studying split-brain patients, people whose brain hemispheres had been surgically separated to treat severe epilepsy. What he found was unsettling. Each hemisphere could act like an independent mind, unaware of what the other was doing. Yet both believed they were the real self. Gazzaniga called the storytelling side of the brain the interpreter. Its job is not to explain what caused your actions. Its job is to create a believable story afterward. Your brain acts, then your conscious mind invents a reason, and you believe it. Psychologist Jonathan Haidt described this as a rider sitting on an elephant. The elephant is your emotional, instinctive brain. The rider is your rational mind. The rider believes it controls the elephant. But when the elephant decides to move, the rider goes along for the ride and later explains why the direction made sense. Daniel Kahneman called these systems System 1 and System 2. System 1 is fast, automatic, and unconscious. System 2 is slow, effortful, and deliberate. You think you live in System 2. You don't. You visit it occasionally. Most of your life runs on System 1. System 1 reacts before you think. It recognizes patterns, follows shortcuts, and makes judgments instantly. It evolved for survival, not like accuracy. When you feel nervous before speaking in public, System 1 treats the situation like a threat. When you instantly trust or distrust someone, System 1 has already made its judgment. Your conscious mind receives the result and calls it intuition. This delay is measurable. In the 1980s, neuroscientist Benjamin Libet asked people to move their wrist whenever they wanted while monitoring their brain activity. He found that the brain began preparing the movement hundreds of milliseconds before participants became consciously aware of deciding to move. The brain acted first, awareness came later. This happens constantly. You reach for another slice of cake, you snap at someone you love, you feel drawn toward a stranger. Long before your rational mind explains the choice, System 1 has already pushed things in a direction. Your rational brain is not the pilot. It is the narrator. That does not mean the two systems are enemies. They evolved together for different purposes. System 1 handles the countless decisions needed for survival. System 2 deals with the difficult, unfamiliar problems. The problem is that modern life is nothing like the environment these systems evolved for. System 1 was built for predators, scarcity, and small tribes. Today, it faces social media, advertisements, financial decisions, and endless information. The same shortcuts that once helped us survive now lead us into predictable mistakes. We judge faces instead of policies. We prefer familiar situations even when they are harmful. We avoid unfamiliar opportunities even when they are beneficial. Kahneman spent decades documenting these errors. Loss aversion, anchoring, the availability heuristic. They are not random flaws. They are the natural outputs of ancient mental software running in a modern world. So what can you do? Awareness alone is not enough. System 1 does not disappear because you understand it, but awareness creates something valuable. A pause, a brief moment where System 2 can step in. Not always, not even often, but sometimes. And sometimes is enough. Haidt argued that the rider cannot control the elephant through force. Instead, it learns the elephant's habits. You shape your environment. You slow down important decisions. You build routines that make good choices easier. You cannot become a purely rational being. You are a mammal with an ancient brain. The instincts inside you are not flaws. They kept your ancestors alive for thousands of generations. But you are also one of the few creatures capable of noticing your own mental machinery. You made a decision today. Maybe you made it consciously. Maybe System 1 made it and handed you the explanation afterward. Either way, the question is not whether you have two brains. You do. The question is whether you notice which one is speaking.